Hello everybody! I have a good chance to review a few small cases in the past, and now we have a real water cooling case, and I'm trying to look above the box. It's a little bit hard. Anyways, so we got a sponsorship item for LD-V8 case from LD Cooling. This will be part of our new build. We're going to start very shortly. I have almost all parts in place, except couple small items like GPU blocks for my 680s. But let's start working on the build itself. And first step, we will look on this case. It's not a new product. It was already reviewed few times in the past. So for that reason, I wouldn't go into much details, but nevertheless, we'll look inside how it looks, see what water cooling options available, so I can make my mind on what radiators and which location I can put in this monster. Packaging of the case is absolutely safe. Coming all the way from Europe, you can see there's an enormous amount of protection around the case. It's fully assembled, there's no need to assemble anything, so it's really hard to damage it in transit. The downside is obviously there's a huge box and associated cost with shipping such a big box, but it's very convenient when you get the product like this. It's fully assembled and absolutely perfectly safe. It is excellently packaged with a shrink wrap and a protective material around it. So up to this part, it's really hard to scratch or make any damage to it. But as soon as we start removing the final packaging, that's start looking for more careful handling and make sure that we don't scratch or make any accidental damage to the case. Taken out of the box, case doesn't appear that huge as when it was packaged, but still it's a very big case. First thing that I noticed is that it has a different type of finish from XSPC case that I did my build before, and you can see that the finish of the paint is more like powder coated and kind of shiny, matte but more shiny than XSPC. When XSPC was it's slightly dirty, so it's not maybe fair comparison, but you can see there's some texture going on material, and it's more anodized type of finish for this panel from my Silent Sniper build, while the finish of this LD case is more like a paint, which is probably is the case here. And another thing that we don't see typical thumb screws in this case is everything on those little screws. So when we need to disassemble it, I need to find my screwdriver and start unscrewing this slowly and disassemble it. Not as fast as some screws, at the same time appearance is significantly improved because the entire cases look more sleek. So let's look more what we can see inside. I need to disassemble all side panels and we can have a look for other options and make some preliminary planning. There's no tools provided with the case, so you might need to run to the hardware store to get your hex screwdriver to disassemble the case. Other than that, the task is not seems that difficult. Side panel out shows the huge internals of the case. We have more green accent, which we couldn't see when the panel was in. So this case can accommodate any size of the motherboard you want. A lot of cutouts for your cable management. Very well done in this sense. And I would like to show you this is how the glass panel is mounted just with a simple screw. On the other side, maybe a little bit longer than I would like to see, but it's very minor thing. So let's continue with removing the side panels. The process is not that fast, but needs to be done so we can assess internal of the case properly. Bottom compartment features dual brackets for mounting two triple radiators, look like 120 millimeters from the size. On the front of the case, interesting enough, you have already pre-installed screws for your 140 millimeter fan, and on the back side of the case you can put two or one power supply. One power supply comes standard configuration, and if you want to have the second power supply in the bottom area, you actually need to buy optional cover that have a cutout for the second power supply. There's also possibility to put extension of the back of the case, and then your power supply moving out, and then you can mount a quad radiator on the bottom as well. So if for some reason you want quad, it's still possible, but you have a part of the hardware sticking outside. All places has a provisioning for put fans, like on the back, on the front. Side panel also has no additional holes anywhere, so this is strictly for air in and out, but you can't put any fans or filters on the side panel at all. Also, you can do it anywhere else. Let's remove the side panel, other side panel, and see what we have on behind. What I want to see on the back of the motherboard tray is the clearance between the tray and the side panel, so you can see how much space I have for all the cable management and extensions in color and everything like this. It looks like about inch, maybe less than inch. It should be more or less okay for putting number of cables here and hiding them behind the tray. There's also a number of additional holes all over the place, so you can put cable management ties and things that helps to fight with the cable clutter. So this looks pretty good. Looking at the cage for hard drives, you can see that we have quite a few here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 package coming with rubber silencers that you can put in those grommets right there, and special screws. Try to take one from the little bag. Little screws like this that allows you to put hard drives easily without much vibration, which is pretty good because I found that hard drives can resonate pretty well in the metal cases. The reason for this plate, I'm not really sure. It looks like more of cosmetics, the reason. Don't know if it make any good. Probably drives will be a little bit hotter with it than without it, but it's here. So let's look what else we're missing. Continue my case inspection on the front. For such a gigantic case we have only 4 525 bays, which is not too much. Let's say if we put a dual bay reservoir, it's only leave us with 2 places left for control and maybe CD-ROM. So it's very easy to populate it all very quickly. One thing I noticed that on the side of the case you also have those screws already pre-installed for your 140mm fan. The problem is that you can't put fan until you remove this side of the hard drive cage, which is quite a few screws all over the place. There's 2 here, 2 inside of the cage, and another 2 on the other side. So some parts of assembly maybe not that as straightforward as you want to see, and if you need to replace fan, that will be the whole procedure to achieve that. So what else we have here? Let's look around. One thing that I need to make sure that you know when you are talking about this particular case, that covers for your PCI slot are not included. So if you want covers, that will be something that you need to purchase separately. The only thing that included with the case in terms of accessories, you have 2 switches and you have a couple bags with different screws. That's all you have. So with such a big number of covers on the back, you definitely need to look to buy a few just to cover it, or use something else. Not necessary to be green as I did with my purchase, can be black and it still will be fine, reused from other computers. Well, that's what I have here. Box is a box, difficult to talk too much here. What I'm thinking I will do in terms of my water cooling planning, it's very tempting to put a lot of radiators in this case, especially you really can. There's a quad on the top, easy, single on the back if you want to, two triples, or with the expansion on the back can be two quads. So you can create a really silent case for high performance build or whatever you're after very easily with this particular product. In my situation, I have CPU, two cards, probably water cool memory and stuff for sake of it, but it's not a very big factor. I really can live just with quad on top, and it will fully cover my needs. In this case, the entire bottom of the case became somewhat wasted because all I can put here is my power supply. Another option, put a couple triples on the bottom and try to achieve ultra low type of build with very low fans, and I don't know, maybe even try passive. I'm not sure if it will work, but there's a possibility if you put tons of radiators and just leave them as is. My inclination at this point probably to go quad on the top, because this will make my tube routing much easier. I don't need to run tubing anywhere on the bottom, and the rest is up to the grabs. I'm thinking about big cylindrical reservoir like 400 millimeters, but looking at this clearance, I'm not 100% sure if I can do it. Maybe I have to opt for 250. So this is something that I need to start to looking at, and my next video will be start putting some components in, like motherboard and fans and stuff like this, and this will come to me what's next and what's the best I can do with this build. So I hope you enjoy this video, and it's very interesting case. I really like it. I think for people who have like quad or triple type of GPU setups, that's the way to go. With a small setup, of course, you can achieve similar result with much smaller case than this. This is pretty much big monster.